Hello, we're here to present to you guys about Zillow and some product requirements as a presentation. Next slide. So to open us up, Zillow is leading in the US real estate marketplace as a competitive market. Right now, they have about 35% of this market in the US. In 2024, they did $2.2 billion in revenue, but in 2024, they had a net loss of 112 million, but that has improved since 2023, which was 158 million. Right now, their monthly active users are around 204 million. And if we look to the right of it, you can see that a good many of their users are Gen Zs and millennials. 18 to 29 is about 47% of their users, and 23% is 30 to 39. So we can see that Gen Z and millennials are the ones that are using Zillow. Next slide. We're now going to look at what Zillow offers compared to their competition. As you can see, Zillow offers that Zestimate feature, but also so does Redfin and Realtor.com. Zillow has 3D tours, interactive maps. What they don't have is real-time tour availability and agent performance reviews. So Zillow excels in the search aspect, but it kind of struggles in the end-to-end support. I'm now going to hand it off to Cole.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. So now we're going to jump into our user persona that we've created. Really, we've taken two elements from our research and combined them to make John Doe here. Really, we used user testing and then also used ChatGPT to survey potential users to understand a little bit more about who is using Zillow, who we're really trying to target, and we're going to do a deeper dive here. So John is 25 years old. He's a graduate student who's from Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a little bit on the tech savvy side, a little bit knowledgeable on technology, and really is looking for convenience and value when it comes to selecting his new residency. John is really looking into housing in New York City right now for his new job, and has had a full investment into Zillow, using it every day on a daily, even hourly cadence sometimes. Some of the quotes from John are along the lines of using Zillow every day with his coffee. It's his new social media platform. John's excited to move to New York City, but also finds like trying to find an apartment's like a full-time job. And he has specific requirements that he's looking for when he's looking into apartments in New York City to make the move. One of them, for example, is to be close to the subway to commute over for his job. So what he's really looking for and what he needs is a streamlined app experience that can filter not only by price, but also location, and has basic transit access and amenities. It has up-to-date listings and reliable communications with landlords or agents. And it has also a lot of transparency. I think transparency is one of the big things that we found during our research, is that we're really looking, the users are really looking for transparency. Some of the pain points that John might face is the bait and switch listings on the site, and that just disappear when the landlord is contacted. So a little bit of uneasiness when actually trusting that selection. There's inconsistency perhaps with photos and different descriptions. And also the tools that he is using may be too narrow for the specific searches he's looking for. So really we're trying to address these pain points and the things that we found during these kind of initial findings through user testing and then ChatGPT as well.
Yeah, so thank you, Cole. So among the features we identified the top two features I'm going to talk about. The first feature, we are addressing one of the top user frustrations, which is about outdated and inaccurate listings. And customers often experience distrust and frustration when they come across homes that are no longer available online, or even that are no longer available, but they are still on our website. So they fear wasting time on listings that aren't updated, which creates a major barrier to using Zillow confidently. So to solve this, we are proposing basically two solutions. Number one was Zero Verified Listing Badge, which will introduce a visible badge showing that the listing has been updated at least within 72 hours. And the second part of this solution will be an AI-powered listing flagging system, which is a backend automation that detects and flags stale listing before the users even see them. So we select this feature because it directly addresses the top voice of our customer pain point, where users describe these scenarios like seeing the same pictures and price from a year ago, which were still being online. And the goal of this is to at least achieve 20% reduction in user-reported stale listings and drive higher engagement and inquiry rates on verified homes. So on the next slide, I'm going to talk about the second feature, which will be tackling the major problem we are facing, which is information overload. So Zillow users often feel overwhelmed and uncertain when choosing neighborhoods because there was simply too much scattered information. So this solution of a neighborhood explorer tool, it will let users filter listings by key factors like safety, school ratings, noise levels, and walkability. And even see user-generated reviews about what it's like to live in those areas. So we chose this feature based on the feedback that we got, like one that said like the amount of information that you get from Zillow is overwhelming, and they wish that there was a way that they could be tailored to their needs. This directive supports users in feeling more confident and less anxious during their decision making. So success metrics on this one include increased time on site per session, more listing saves and schedule tours, and higher engagement with this new feature. So I'll invite Yuyan to talk about the next steps.
Yeah, thank you, Jeffrey. So to cap this presentation off, we're going to talk about how we plan to validate the impact, as well as to talk about some of the risks and mitigation that we will bring along. So kicking off with the validation. So it's a three-step process. So we'll first talk about our key assumptions, which is A, verified badges increases listing trust, and then B, we think that trust drives higher engagement. And then how we plan on testing that? So we want to do an A/B testing. So the control group is no badge, whereas the treatment group has badge timestamp plus source label, which could help us determine whether or not the badge does make a difference to user engagement. And lastly, to measure the success, we have several success metrics, so including CTR, which is the click-through rate, as well as inquiry rate. This can be measured directly by tracking click and inquiry events on Zillow's analytics site. And then secondarily, we can measure success by looking at the time on listing page data. So time on page basically is the average time users spend on verified versus non-verified listing pages. And the reason why we chose that metric is because longer time suggests greater trust and deeper consideration. Lastly, there are certain guardrails that's also in our consideration. Firstly, bounce rate, which is to ensure that verified badges are not causing users to bounce off listings unexpectedly. And negative feedback and report rate, which is to monitor if users found the badges confusing or misleading. Next slide, please. So last, we'll cap our presentation off by talking about the risks as well as some of the mitigating factors. So there are 5 primary risks that we've identified. So that are peaking, spillover effects, false positives or false negatives, user misunderstanding of the verified badge, and lastly, backend or data quality issues. So as you can see on this graph, we've mapped them based on their potential impact and their likelihood of risk occurring. So with peaking, we think that it has a medium impact and a medium likelihood of it occurring. And to mitigate that, so we think that we can set a fixed analysis date to avoid interim checks unless operationally necessary. So with the spillover effect, we think that it's going to have a high potential impact, but a low likelihood of it occurring. And to mitigate that, we think that we would randomize at the session level instead of per listing view. And for the third risk, which is the false positive and false negatives, we think that has a high impact and a medium likelihood of risk occurring. We think that by maintaining a significance level of P smaller than 0.05, and we can confirm with sensitivity analysis so to prevent it from happening. And then the fourth one, user misunderstanding of the verified badge. We think that it's got a medium potential impact and medium likelihood of it happening. So we'll use A/B test simple tooltip explanations if confusion is observed. And lastly, with backend or data quality issues, we think that it has a high likelihood of happening. High impact, low likelihood of happening. So we'll use a Wizard of Oz test phase using manually verified data to mitigate that risk. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. This is our product requirements presentation.